9ാം ക്ലാസ്സിലെ സോഷ്യൽ സയൻസ് പാർട്ട് 1 ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് മീഡിയം ലേണിംഗ് എക്സലൻസ് റെക്കോർഡിലെ ചോദ്യങ്ങളുടെ ഉത്തരങ്ങളാണ് വീഡിയോയിൽ നൽകിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. ആക്ടിവിറ്റി കാർഡിലെ എല്ലാ ചോദ്യങ്ങളുടെ ഉത്തരങ്ങൾ ക്രമത്തിൽ നൽകിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. കൂട്ടുകാർ ടെസ്റ്റ് വായിച്ച് കണ്ടെത്തിയ ഉത്തരങ്ങൾ ശരിയാണോ എന്ന് വീഡിയോ നോക്കി മനസ്സിലാക്കി ആക്ടിവിറ്റി കാർഡ് പൂർത്തിയാക്കുക. യൂണിറ്റ് 1 മിഡീവൽ വേൾഡ് സെൻറ്റേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് പവർ. എംപയേഴ്സ്, റൂളേഴ്സ്, കോൺട്രിബ്യൂഷൻസ്. ഈസ്റ്റേൺ റോമൻ എംപയർ. റൂളർ ജസ്റ്റീനിയൻ. കോൺട്രിബ്യൂഷൻ കോർപ്പസ് ജൂറിസ് സിവിലിസ്. ഹോളി റോമൻ എംപയർ. റൂളർ ഷാലമീൻ. കോൺട്രിബ്യൂഷൻസ് മിസൈ ഡൊമിൻസി, കൗണ്ട്സ്, റിലീഫ് ഫണ്ട്സ്, കരോലിഞ്ചിയൻ റിനേസൻസ്. എംപയർ ദ അറബ് എംപയർ. റൂളർ ഹാറൂൺ അൽ റഷീദ്. Contribution welfare measures, judicial administration based on the principles of Islam. Ottoman Empire. Ruler Sulaiman. Codified the Ottoman laws, centralized administration. Mongol Empire. Ruler Genghis Khan. Well organized espionage, courier, postal system. Contribution. Mali Empire. Ruler Kangan Musa. Contribution huge treasures of gold. Timbuktu Cultural and Commercial Center. Observations. Monarchical rule existed in the medieval world. The administration was centralized. Administration was based on the welfare of the people. The medieval reforms led the world towards modernism. Factors that led to the decline of feudalism. Agricultural production decreased due to climate change, famine, plague and black death, crusades, king's monopoly of gunpowder, peasant revolts, emergence of nation state. Crisis occurred in social life as a result of feudalism. Feudalism created a hierarchical society, king at the top and the farmers at the bottom strata. This resulted in economic as well as social inequality. The dissatisfaction of the commons finally led to the revolutions. Unit 2. The East and West Era of Exchange. Trade route. Continents through which trade route passes. Countries, towns. Silk route. Asia, Africa, Europe. Major countries: China, India, Egypt, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq. Cities, towns: Baghdad, Basra, Aden, Mecca, Muscat, Damascus, Surat. Spice route. Asia, Africa, Europe. Countries: China, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Persia, Egypt, Spain, Italy. Towns: Kozhikode, Baghdad, Mecca, Muscat, Damascus, Surat, Constantinople, Genoa, Athens, Venice, Florence. Different kinds of guilds. The merchant guilds, the craft guilds. Aims of guild: to foster mutual help and cooperation, to maintain the monopoly of the market and the attainment of economic stability. Responsibilities of the guilds: division of labor, framing labor laws, determining working hours, fixing prices, determining the mode of sale, maintaining the quality of products. Causes for the decline of guild system: industrialization, growth of science, growth of technology. Medieval education. Major subjects taught in medieval schools: grammar, Latin, astronomy, literature, philosophy, mathematics, laws of nature. Main subjects taught in universities: philosophy, literature, medicine, languages, geometry, law. The main subjects offered in the Gurukula system in India: grammar, languages, literature, philosophy, astronomy. Progress in the field of trade and culture in the medieval world led to the beginning of the modern age. Substantiate the statement. There started a change in the outlook of people in the medieval world. They began to change as the education improved. New system of education led to the emergence of cultural change. Spread of trade along with the growth of science and technology helped people to understand the world in a new outlook. The countries came closer due to the trade and cultural exchanges. This led them to the modern world. Unit 3 Indian Constitution Rights and Duties. Fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right to constitutional remedies, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights. Important ideas of fundamental rights: right to equality, ensure equality before law, prohibition of discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, race, sex, place of birth, etc. Ensure equality of opportunity in public employments, abolition of untouchability, abolition of titles. Right to freedom: freedom of speech and expression, freedom to assemble peacefully without arms, freedom to form associations, freedom to travel anywhere in India, freedom to reside anywhere in India, freedom to carry on any occupation, trade or business, right to life and personal liberty, right to free and compulsory education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years, protection from arbitrary arrest and detention. Right against exploitation: forced labor and trafficking human beings are prohibited. Employment of children in factories and other dangerous sectors are prohibited. Right to freedom of religion: right to profess, practice and propagate any religion. Freedom to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purposes. Right against taxation for promoting a particular religion. Cultural and educational rights: protection of language, script and culture of the minorities. Religious and linguistic minorities have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. Right to constitutional remedies: remedial measures if the fundamental rights are violated. An individual can approach either the Supreme Court or the High Court for enforcing them. Courts can issue writs. Fundamental duties: fundamental duties are included in Part 4A of the Constitution. Fundamental duties: stand up while the national anthem is being sung, realize that historical monuments are to be protected, try to foster cordiality among the people, protect the unity and integrity of the nation, try to protect the environment. Chapter 4: Medieval India, concept of kingship and the nature of administration. Dynasties, rulers, administrative reforms, features. Sultanate rule: Alauddin Khilji. Market regulation: the government fixed the prices of essential commodities. Black marketeers and hoarders were strictly punished. Established granaries to store the grains brought from the peasants. Ikta system: the revenue collection and the judicial administration of these divisions were the main duties of these iqtidars. Maintain an army of their own. Mughal rule: Akbar. Mansabdari: central government. Mansab denotes the rank or position of a Mughal military officer. Each mansab had two subdivisions called the Sat and Sawar. Din Ilahi: it was a combination of ideas and principles of different religious discourses of Akbar with different religions. Sulhir Kul or peace to all was its basic tenet. Jagirdari system: a system which granted land in lieu of salary to the mansabdars, revenue collection of the area. Chola rule: Rajaraja Chola, Rajendra Chola. The village autonomy divided the country into mandalams, valanadus, nadus and kotams. Two councils known as the Ur and the Sabha functioned for the purpose of village administration. Vijayanagara rule: Krishnadevaraya, the Nayangara system. There were ministers and royal officers to assist the king in administration. As they were also military heads, the king awarded them with the title of Nayak along with the specific area of land. The Iyengar system: the day-to-day administration of the village was done by the officers known as Iyengars. Maratha rule: Shivaji, Ashtapradhan. The central administration had the support of an elaborate ministry. The Swarajya was the territories of the Marathas, whereas the Mughalai was the regions annexed to the kingdom. In addition to the land tax collected from the Maratha country, Swarajya, two kinds of taxes, Chaud and Sardeshmukhi, were collected from the annexed regions. General features of the medieval dynasties: the king was head of administration. Centralized administration was prevailed in the empire. There existed a local administrative system to assist the emperor. Land was divided into several divisions. Military and revenue collection were systematic. Chapter 5: Society and Economy in Medieval India. Medieval Indian society: upper class, kings and lords. Middle class, mansabdars, traders. Lower class, farmers, craftsmen, slaves. Life of medieval Indian society: majority of the people were farmers. When landlords lived in luxuriously, the common mass had to struggle with a pathetic life. The Zamindars were the dominant class in the agricultural sector during the Mughal period. There were two types of peasants, Kudukasta and Pahikasta. Slavery. The travelogues of the medieval period record that slavery had prevailed in India then. Ibn Battuta, a traveler to India in the 14th century, revealed that he had bought horses, camels, and slaves to present to Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the then ruler. Status of women. Child marriage and the practice of sati prevailed in many parts of the country. There were restrictions for remarriage. Since girls were married at a very tender age, they did not get the opportunity for education. The women at work involved in themselves in all the stages of farming from sowing to harvesting. They were engaged in weaving, pottery and embroidery too. There were several women who had adorned higher political and social position. Caste system. The Brahmins enjoyed a higher status. The newly formed occupational groups gradually evolved as caste. The caste in South India were broadly divided into Idangai and Valangai. The steps taken by medieval Indian rulers for the progress of agriculture. To extend cultivation, Balban, the Sultanate ruler, allotted Doab region, the region between Ganga and the Yamuna, to farmers. Firoz Shah Tughlaq sanctioned money in advance to the peasants for digging wells to facilitate irrigation. Canals were constructed to carry water from the Yamuna to farmland. Activities taken by modern government for the betterment of agriculture. Separate department for agriculture is formed. High yielding seeds, artificial fertilizers and pesticides are used. Subsidies are given for encouraging agriculture. Crop insurances are given. Ceiling of prices is introduced. New farming methods are introduced. Awards are given for the encouragement of agriculture. Chapter 6. India, the land of synthesis. Sufi saint, Pir or Sheikh. Followers of Sufi saint, Murid. Residents of the Sufis, Kankhas. Devotional songs recited at Sufi centers, Khawalis. Features of Bhakti movement. Its propagators were the saints who were Bhakti poets, challenged the conservative Brahmanic traditions, provided representation to the lower caste and women, rendered contribution in the field of culture and music. Ideas of Veerashaiva movement. Upheld the dignity of labor, opposed caste system, gave priority to gender equality, prompted widow remarriage, interdinings and adult marriages, questioned the doctrine of rebirth, propagated the ideas of liberty and social justice. Chapter 7. Kerala from 8th to 18th century. Name of Nadus of medieval Kerala. Kolathu Nadu, Ezhimala, Purakizha Nadu, Pandalayani Kollam, Kurumbarai Nadu, Erala Nadu, Valluva Nadu, Ramavala Nadu, Nedungalai Nadu, Nedumpurai Nadu, Kodungallur, Keezhmalai Nadu, കാൽക്കരൈ നാട്, വെമ്പലനാട്, നന്റുഴൈ നാട്, മുഞ്ഞുനാട്, കൊല്ലം, വേണാട്. Characteristics of the role of Perimals. Perimals are representatives called Koyiladhikarigal. In the matters of administration, the Perimals were assisted by Naludali, the council of Brahmins. Perimals had a militia called Ayiram, 1000. Perimals levied taxes from the Nadus, Nagaras, Brahmin, Gramas, temples, etc. Chapter 8. Election and Democracy. Present Chief Election Commissioner of India, Sushil Chandra. Who appoints the Chief Election Commissioner? The President. Which are the important elections conducted by Election Commission? The elections to the offices of President, Vice President, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies are conducted by the Election Commission of India. Important functions of Election Commission. Supervise the elections, prepare voters list, declare the dates of different stages of election, allot election symbols, frame code of conduct, the appointment and training of election officials, voting, counting of votes and declaration of results, examine election expenses of candidates. Reforms implemented by the Election Commission. Identity card with voter's photo has been introduced. Limit has set on the election expenses of candidates. Implemented code of conduct for political parties and candidates. Electronic voting machine has been introduced in elections. Published voters list with photo of the electors. Negative voting system has been introduced. Included the photo of candidates on ballot paper. How does these reforms solve the limitations in election? Write down your opinion. Identity card, voters list with photo etc. prevents bogus voting. Limit on the election expenses controls money power over democracy. Electronic voting machine made the election transparent. Nota gives the voter the opportunity to reject the contesting candidates. Ballot paper with a photo helped even the illiterate to identify their candidate and cast correct vote. Chapter 9, Towards a Bright Future. How does one become addicted to intoxicants? Those who believe that the use of intoxicants such as tobacco, liquor, cocaine, etc. can be controlled may yield to them gradually. Then they become addicted to them. What are the problems of intoxicants? Cause physical and mental problems, increase crimes, causes family problem and economic crisis. Cause suicidal tendencies, accidental deaths, etc. Causes that make the children offenders at an early age. Defects in family relations, use of intoxicants, misuse of media, deterioration of social values. What you can do as a student to raise awareness on juvenile crime among the children. Try to understand the problems of the children. Be a good friend and help those who are in trouble. Make them aware about the problems in using intoxicants. Make them aware about the cyber laws. Be a model and follow social values in life and ask them to do so. Inform the authorities about the problems. NCC, NSS, student police cadets, etc. can try to interfere in their problems and help them to solve it.